Okay, so today we're gonna try to create the caliphate, the new Islamic hegemony, but we're gonna do it as a woman and try to give women power across the world. So the first thing I did was make a custom ruler and rule over Palestine. Then go on some pilgrimages to get some piety, because we need to create a new religion. I also want to expand a bit, so I also expand inside my vassals. I didn't want things to be too easy, so I made myself a vassal inside the Abbasid Empire. But we are on Jerusalem, one of the most important holy lands in the Muslim, Jewish, and Christian world. And that is no accident. With these holy lands, it is our right to expand. So right now, I'm just trying to expand so I can form a kingdom. So when I die, I keep all this stuff, so I can overthrow my liege later. As right now, my liege is at war with someone, so I'm not too scared of anything happening. As I watch my liege fall apart, have a child, and other things like that. Until I decide to declare a dissolution war. Dissolution war is when you destroy an entire empire or kingdom, and everyone becomes independent. Since my liege was in a bunch of wars, I figured it would be easy, and I was correct. With only 3 years, I won. And the empire was destroyed. Now it's time for me to start gobbling up. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Right now, it's just time for me to try to expand and get stronger. With the empire destroyed, there's a huge power vacuum, and we're going to have to try to fill it. Which fill we will do. As eventually I become strong enough to make my own religion. I called it Amazonian after the Amazons from DC. And now we have the perfect faith. A faith for women are in charge. I gave myself warmonger. Human pain, which means we get piety by torturing people, which is holy points, and communion, which means that people can pay me since I'm the head of faith, or they should. Right now, the head of faith is the leader of the other Muslim faith, because if you're both Shia or Shiite, you both have the head of faith. Same head of faith, until we can depose him. But I'm not going to do that right now, because, well, my heir is a man, and I have to change that first. But for now, I make myself queen. Now I am queen of my own kingdom. Oh, hell yeah. And we have a great coronation. A coronation is basically a great ceremony where we indoctrinate the king or queen. And without it, you don't have legitimacy. As then, I declare war on Egypt to make it so they have to pay me daily a certain amount of money. Because I want that money. Money, 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 money. After luring Egypt into mountains, we defeat them and make it so they have to pay us monthly. Very nice. As then, we continue to expand. Now that we have a kingdom, I want more. I want an empire. As I continue to expand, things are going pretty well for me. Even though we are a different faith, we have the same head of faith, so they didn't hate me too much. And since, my religion has female rulers as superior, my fellow faith didn't dislike me. And I was able to expand into new territory. Since I had Jerusalem and all the richest parts of the Arabian Peninsula, expanding into the rest of the parts were not that difficult. And some people even decided to become my vassal, which means they join my kingdom. In exchange, they become a noble and an important person inside of it. So yeah. As then, I decided to form a hybrid culture because I don't have any siege equipment. I wanted siege equipment. So I conquered some of the Armenians and formed an Armenian Arabic culture, which I'm not going to say anything about. You guys can just imagine what that's like. As then, I continued to expanding further and further in the Middle East. Originally, I was going to form the Empire of Abyssinia, but things were getting pretty tedious, and it was looking better just to form my own empire. But I want that empire to be worthy, so instead of just conquering 3 kingdoms, I wanted to conquer most of, Saudi Arabia and places around there, like in modern day. So, yeah, right now I just continued on conquering, trying my best to expand the best I can. And right now, my woman is old, she is strong, and she is a warrior. I think about betraying Egypt to, get those points, but I decided to reload and not to, because doing so will break my prestige. I could betray them and maybe take them over because I have a claim now, but I decide it's not really worth it, and just continue to expand until I can eventually form a new empire. Yeah! Way to go, the Empire of Palestine. And now we control some holy sites. By the way, maybe talking about Palestine's not the best idea nowadays. with politics and stuff, and you guys don't want to hear my opinion, so that's the last time I'll mention it. Now my son takes over. Even though my religion has female as superior, my son was the rightful heir because I had to change that in laws, and I can't do that until I research that. Which kind of sucks, but oh well. He'll be the only male ruler, and I wish I could do all female, but it is what it is. Which I've never seen before. My game just started glitching. I don't know what I'm smoking. But anyway, the form of the Islamic hegemony, we have to own 70% of Muslim provinces, all of Arabia, the Kingdom of Persia, and all of North Africa. So we're going to have to continue to expand until we can finally achieve our dreams and become the ultimate Muslim hegemony. As now, it was expansion time. Conquest after conquest. Luckily for me, after the Abbasid fell, everyone else was still unstable, and the world was starting to fall apart. But since I am a human and not an AI, I know how to stop rebellions and to actually listen to people, because this guy was actually great in diplomacy, and because of that, I was able to stop rebellions and just continue to expand, which helped me out greatly. But then I bordered a conqueror, which I didn't really like, because bordering conquerors is not fun. I'll have to come back for the Kingdom of Persia later, but for right now, I just continue to eat up Egypt. War after war, bit by bit, I will consume Egypt until it is nothing more. As then someone declared war on us, the conqueror. Now, I had a bunch of allies, so it shouldn't be too hard. All we had to do was quickly seize down land and force them into a white peace. As then we had a massive rebellion. Now, I know I said taking down rebellions was easy, but the more you expand, the harder that gets, and eventually, even with diplomacy, I just couldn't do it. But I was able to beat them into a white peace. By the way, I could enforce peace and get way more benefits, but white peace is faster, and I was trying to get this done quickly. So then I went to another war with Egypt, as I just wanted to keep expanding on into Egypt until I can take the entire kingdom. This was going to be a slow grind, but then I finally researched the changed gender laws, so now I made it so only female can inherit the throne. Before, it was only male. But now, since only females can inherit the throne, I was excited, and then decided to do a holy war against the Byzantines. Now, I don't need this land to form my hegemony. I don't even know why I did it, but I decided to do it anyway, just to teach those Byzantines a lesson, since they were the biggest threat right next to me, and they're in civil war, and they weren't doing too well. And as soon as we started expanding into them, someone declared war on us, because that always happens. But anyway, we were able to defeat the Busy Bros. I don't know why, but Byzantines have more civil wars than anyone, and it's always about who claims the throne. A claim of throne civil war is when someone rises up to become the new emperor. I don't know if it's because they're administration government, and that's why, or maybe the Byzantines are just programmed like that because they're not supposed to have disillusioned civil wars, but I have no idea. If you guys know in the comments, please let me know, because I am actually extremely curious. Anyway, after that, some people offered to become my vassal, so I decided to let them, taking them all in. And by the way, the Byzantines become, well, a tributary to another country after I beat them up so bad, which means they have to pay them every month, so RIP. As then we just go around and put down some rebels, and we get more rebels. Religious rebels, because since I picked fundamentalist for my religion, which means that our people are very strict about things, and it makes it easier to expand, but people who don't like our religion will rise up more. Anyway, eventually he died, and now we have a woman in charge. And we will have a woman in charge for the rest of the game. And all my subjects decide to congratulate me by, you guessed it, starting a huge rebellion. Yay! But I'm able to fight them all off, destroying them bit by bit. As then, I'm able to stop this disillusion war, which would have destroyed my entire empire. I guess that's fitting since I did the same thing to the Abbasid Empire. A little bit of payback, but I control 2 holy sites. And I then released the head of faith of the other faiths, because I can't control them to make myself the new head of faith for my faith. So I made myself the new head of faith by releasing him. And bada bing, bada boom, now my followers can pay me. Yippee, yippee, yippee. As then, I decided to expand even more into Namibia, taking over some Muslims there and some Coptics to expand my realm. That's nice, very nice. As then I expand further into North Africa. Most of this is just trying to expand however possible, because I promised I would expand the realm. But I'm dealing with civil wars every 10 seconds. Every 10 seconds I get these rise up. So I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it, sadly. I mean, if you don't complete your promise on coronation, you get a bunch of rebels and everyone hates you and you lose all your prestige. Basically, it's the equivalent of being a social outcast. It's the equivalent of doing the worst thing in your community and everyone hates you. Even if they rebelled every 10 seconds and did everything they could to stop you, they hate you because you didn't achieve it. And that's how the game works, and that's just how things are in the world. I'm just desperately trying to expand anywhere at all because of that. But anytime I try to expand somewhere, I just get these rebels and I have to push them down. I probably should have beat them into submission instead of white peace, and that's my mistake. I know that now. I am not a pro player, by the way. I suck at the game. I just really enjoy playing it. So if you have tips how to do better, let me know in the comments below. Just be nice about it. Don't be like, hey, you suck, you should have done this. Just be like, oh, by the way, pro tip, click on this, or use this skill when you're fighting. You know, just stuff like that. As I continued just to expand onwards, even took over the head of faith that I kicked out of my realm, who is the head of faith of the other Islamic religion. I was able to destroy and behead him, which is pretty nice, I guess. As then I expanded even more, until I died. I didn't fulfill my promise, and I died shortly after, so everyone was pissed at me for a few seconds. That was a scare, though. For once, I am glad my CK3 character died. Most of the time, I hate when they die, and I try my best to keep them alive, but yeah. And after that, we had rebels. But there's this thing where you can deploy your troops early on a rebel capital, so you can take it over as soon as they rebel, which I kind of use this exploit a lot. I'm not good at the game, so I use a lot of exploits. Also, I was able to build a grand temple. I also looked at Asia for a bit, as China blew up like they always do. As then, I was able to expand even more and behead some families. As then, I made an oath to shape the realm, which is basically just means just building buildings, which I decided to do instead of expand the realm because I wanted an easy one so I didn't fail because of rebels and everyone hated me, because my leader might live a long time, and if she does, that would be a problem. And now I'm trying to expand to take over the kingdom of Persia because it's one of the requirements, but then I got another rebellion. If you don't know why I'm getting so many rebellions, it's because I have a lot of different faiths. Since the other Islamic faith is Muslim, I can't kick them from the realm if they don't believe in mine, so they just rebel constantly. And as soon as I take over a kingdom of a new faith, they all rebel there. So I'm just having all these rebellions. And then I decided to get by the sword, which allows me to declare infinite level holy wars, kingdom level holy wars, which is one of the best traits you can have if you want to expand in CK3. If you want to expand at all, and especially late game where you build up such a big empire, I highly suggest getting by the sword. It's definitely one of the best culture traits for expanding, as expansion was the key. Also was putting down rebels, like every 10 seconds. This time at least mercenaries offer to help me every time, so that's something, right? You get a little bit of help each time. Most of them are just from the other Muslims who don't like that I control a faith that has women in charge and other stuff like that. As now I declare the war on the Byzantines to take a small province because I need it to have Arabia. We need to control Arabia completely to form the Islamic hegemony. If you don't know what hegemony is, it's basically like an empire but even better and with way more stats. And as we were defeating the Byzantines, we had to put down another rebellion because Egypt rebelled. Because of course they did. Because they converted to the other Muslim faith as soon as I formed myself as a head of faith, because of course they did. Everyone hates me. But after beating them and going back and fighting the Byzantines, we were able to finally achieve peace. Finally, peace at last. Just kidding. Another war, another rebellion that we have to put down, lickety-split, which we do. As then I decided to expand a little bit more because that tiny island is the last bit of Arabia that I need. As I was able to take it over and get all of Arabia. As then I expanded into Persia because I needed this land for the kingdom of Persia to form the caliphate. And I switched back between caliphate and hegemony and stuff like that. The reason I call it that is because it owns a lot of the land that the original first Muslim caliphate has. So I might change the caliphate and hegemony, but I'm basically talking about the same thing when I talk about taking it over. As then I have fought a war for another tiny piece of land that the Byzantine had for Arabia. Yay, very, very fun. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of people dead for a tiny piece of rock. Most of it's mountains. Most of it's just useless. I just need to own it. Sorry, Byzantines. Sorry to everyone for dying for that. I'll be pissed if I died for that, not gonna lie. But yeah, I then was forced to fight more rebellions. And then the Byzantines declared war for the land back, so I had to go up north and teach them a lesson. The AI's gotten a lot smarter, because most of the time they declare war on me, I'm in the civil war. So it seems like they've learned. Because back in the old day, I don't remember them ever doing that. I think I've said that before in a few videos, but still, it just baffles me how good the AI has gotten over the years. I mean, they still suck. I'm not saying they're perfect, but they have definitely gotten better. And that makes me scared, because in a few updates, I might actually be getting beat, because without exploits, I suck at the game, and I won't be able to do anything. So yeah, exploits are just the name of the game now. It's just how it is, yo. Anyway, after that, I then go to another war for expansion and get some vassals. Nice, very nice. The more I expand to Muslim territory, the better, as then I died and my daughter took over. That's right. And she was somewhat young, so I wasn't too scared. And now we have to deal with a massive rebellion, because every time you get a new leader, people don't like that, so they rebel. Isn't that stable? Isn't this great? Isn't this wonderful? I love it so much. Anyway, I then expand more. I have to fight a war against the Byzantines, and I have to take each province separately in a separate war, since they're not connected. Because there's no thing like, hey, take all land in North Africa. That's not a thing. So, yeah. Thousands of people die over that war, and then we fight rebels. And then we're able to do a holy war against Morocco, because any Muslim faith that is not Sunni or Shia, we can then go to war with for an entire kingdom. I don't know why. I don't know how that works. It's all because of Muhammad's secession. I don't know a lot about Muslim religion, so I don't really want to talk that much about it in case I get it wrong. I don't care what religion you are, I love you, and thank you for watching this video right now. I also have women commanders, but for some reason a lot of my commanders are men because of the different cultures. In my culture, only females, but a lot of cultures still have males, even though their faith is only females. It's complicated. Sadly, we don't have all female commanders. That would be great if we did. I mean, I could have done that if I made every county my culture, but then that would mess up my development because I'm trying to play tall. So I would have been like, oh, hell no. So yeah, I just kind of have to live with that. Also win some civil wars. Also, clan government is amazing. I love how in clan government, all the titles go to your heir. That's great. And it's way better than freaking administration because I just hate the influence system. I don't have to pay attention to influence every 10 seconds. I want to just play the game, conquer, and build up and not worry about stupid influence. It pisses me off. Anyway, I'm able to win a liberty war. As then, I continue to expand even more, just taking as much territory as I possibly can. With these new territories, I am close to controlling all of North Africa. As then, I get another rebellion because they're the wrong form of Muslim, because of course they are. That sounded very political. I did not mean that political at all. I mean in this game. In this game, they are not my exact faith, so they rise up. That is what I meant. Nothing political. That was not a political statement. Do not take that out of context, please, and thank you. As then, I am forced to go on a journey, and I decide just to screw it and just reload, because I'm not doing that big-ass rebellion. As then, my leader dies, and I play as my daughter, and I win an independence war. I then get a bunch of other ones that I have to fight, because of course, liberty wars and stuff like that. As I put them down, I put them down with force. Now it's time for everyone's favorite game, going to war with the Byzantines and getting hundreds of thousands of people dying over a few provinces of land. Yay! Woo! Because the Byzantines thought it would be fun to expand in North Africa, and I was like, oh, hell nah. After that, we took a little bit of more land, so now we own almost all of it, and then we decided to expand further and take over a bit of a kingdom. There was this empire that kind of collapsed a little bit, So now we're going to take advantage of it. And a lot of these people were pagan, so forming the Muslim Caliphate was going to be easy until a great conqueror took over, and he was, one of the Muslim faiths, so he spreaded that, because of course he did. Yay! By the way, if you don't know what the conqueror trait is in CK3, it basically just makes you really overpowered, makes it so you pay barely anything for an army, your army size doubles, and you get infinite wars with no cost, and all the vassals are scared to rise up against you. It's basically just a bunch of overpowered traits in one. As then we get another rebellion, we have to fight it. All this is expanding and fighting rebellions. Expand, fight a rebellion. Expand, fight a rebellion. As then I look down at an empire with a conqueror. Because of course they have a conqueror. I would love to stop him, If you lose 2 new wars as a conqueror, you lose the trait. So I could help out with that, but I can't. Because I'm dealing with all these stupid rebels every 10 seconds. But I am able to expand a little bit. And then after expanding, I get a plague right where I was going to war. Also, then the Pope declares a crusade on the Byzantines for some reason, which I've never seen that happen. So I decided to take advantage of that and just take over the Pope, seize the Catholic Church and all that stuff. But then I die. And I decide just to help the Byzantines out. Since the Byzantines were my tributary, I joined in their war and helped fight and defeat the Pope, which was weird. I never thought we'd fight alongside the Byzantines in a crusade. That's kind of the opposite of what happened in real life, but it is what it is, I guess. CK3 is weird. And the Pope just kept declaring crusades on the Byzantines. He never declared it on me for some reason. I don't know why the Catholics hated the Orthodox more than me, but I guess I'll take it. This game has been very weird. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, at least expanding was easy for the most part. As then, the Byzantines declared war on us for a little Armenian province. And honestly, I didn't need it. I even thought about giving it up. But I decided to beat them, and I'm glad I did, because they had to pay me a lot of gold after losing that war. After that, I decided to teach them a lesson by going and beating them up and making them a tributary once again. Because if you're going to keep attacking me, I'm going to make you pay me money. Money, 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 money. As then, I went back to expanding. As I needed these tiny provinces to form the Islamic Caliphate. So I went to war against the conqueror to take a few provinces. Luckily, I outnumbered him a lot, so even with his overpowered trait, I was able to win, even with my leader dying halfway through. Hell yeah! After that, we then had to do things again. As then, I got the conqueror trait myself, and that made the game literally 1,000,000 times easier. So much so that it was so easy, I'm just gonna skip through it. I decided just to speed it up to 2 times speed to show you how easy this was, and this was very, very, well, just pure easy. Honestly, I had nothing to worry about at this point. All my woes were away, and I was able to just expand. I even made a promise to expand the realm. That's why I'm conquered a lot of non-Muslim lands, because I was kind of desperate to get that done and conquer huge kingdoms. But yeah, I was able to expand pretty far. And from the looks of it, this isn't hard anymore. I achieved my goal. And this campaign was a lot of fun. Having a female-run kingdom, I've done that only once, and that's when I united Africa in that achievement. But yep, I was able to expand further and further and further. And this game was a lot of fun. I highly recommend you try this challenge. It was nothing but fun and enjoyment after a while. It was hard at first, and with all those rebellions and me picking fundamentalism, I should not have done that. That definitely shot me in the foot. But hey, even with all those disadvantages, I was able to do it. Also, Sweden converted to Islam. I've never seen that before. I've never seen Sweden convert to Islam in this game. And I've also never seen the Pope declare a crusade on the Byzantines, which he did 24/7. This game was just nothing but wacky and insane. Like, literally, stuff I've never seen happen just all happened at once and happened over and over and over again. And I kept going holy wars against this empire every chance I got because I needed a lot of their land to form the hegemony. Also took over a little bit of Portugal. Iberia was weird. Francia almost took it all over, but then they released a bunch of Christian kingdoms, and then the empire of Hispania existed, but then it became two kingdoms. It was weird. I didn't know what was happening. But anyway, I was able to form it. The Muslim hegemony, ran by women. Women now rule the most powerful empire in the world. And I decided that wasn't enough. Now I'm going to take over the entire province of Italy and destroy the Catholic Church once and for all. Dismantle the papacy. And yeah, I was able to do it. Hope you all enjoyed this video. I did. This video is pretty much almost over. I had to go over the Byzantines because they own a province in Italy. At least I was able to take it all in once, though, which I guess wasn't too difficult. And I even threw a feast at the same time just to say, hey, I'm better than you. After that, I just expanded into Italy a bit. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. I can't decide between the next video forming the European Union or making communist China. Let me know in the comments below. Peace out. And that's where I leave things off, because I basically did it. I did everything I wanted. I destroyed the church, and I formed the most powerful Muslim empire in the world.